All right. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to my show right here. Welcome to my vlogcast. I got a guest on here. He goes by Frank Gonzalez, and he's gonna let y'all know what's going on down in New York City and what he got going on. So I'm gonna let you take it away, brother.
Thank you, Mo, and thank you so much to everybody that's watching. Yes, my name is Frank Gonzalez. I'm the New York State Chairman of the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. As you see my shirt right here, that's the RNHA New York chapter. Basically, what we do out here is we do outreach to Hispanic communities, to Republicans, patriots, the MAGA movement, anybody that's looking to support capitalism. We collaborate with them. Anyone that's against socialism and communism, we collaborate with them. We make sure that we're against that, and we, fight those systems of oppression that have, plagued countries, Latin American countries like Venezuela, Cuba, and other places like that. So a lot of the things that we do in New York, is like toy drives. We do events. We do networking events. We do holiday parties and things like that. We recruit, and right now the RNHA's motto is recruit, inform, and elect. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what a lot of these organizations should really focus on, is on recruitment. First of all, getting a lot of members and volunteers. Volunteers is one of the most important things for political campaigns, helping candidates, and informing the public, like Mo is doing, and everybody else that's on social media, informing the public, and then electing. There's nothing that can get done without our own elected officials. We, the people, have to elect them and make sure that they get in the position of power to listen to us, to be with the community, and then get the policies implemented in government.
Yes. We're just as important, if not probably more important. I'm gonna say that we're more important than people that is running for office. We are. I believe we are. That's what I believe. I believe we are more important because it's our vote count. Our footwork counts. The work we put in counts. You feel me?
Yeah, as a grassroots organization, the RNHA has been around since 1967, and yeah, we've been putting in the work. We do the boring work, basically, that a lot of these organizations, don't sometimes do, or some of these candidates need our help with. So they reach out to groups like us, to Mo, and to like other groups out there that are looking to help out and volunteer. Like I said, you can't win a campaign without having volunteers that will put that time, that'll sacrifice their time to a candidate if they truly believe in the candidate, to do the things that they want to do, and to help. Some of the races, just to let you know right now, that's happening, is the public advocacy, which is first of all, it's a 180K a year job that is being run. It's a special election that's happening, I think, around January, end of January to February, and they'll probably get someone there around there. Right now, the Republican candidates that are going up against that, against all the Democrats, there's like 20 Democrats against like 3 or 4 Republicans. So it's like it's a limited amount of challengers, and the race is getting divided up. So, but it's not Democrats versus Republicans. It's not a political party line race. It's a special, in this special election, it's a ballot line. So there can be people that are saying, I'm against de Blasio and Cuomo.
Yeah.
I'm against, gentrification. So there's like the stop gentrification line and like the working families line. So there's party lines. This is a very important race because the base here in New York has been completely like decimated. It's been destroyed. A lot of the races, we took a lot of L's in this midterm election in New York. So we're trying to recuperate from that and trying to get a candidate out there to really win this seat, because it'll be at least something that can rally against the mayor and really help bring our Republican voice into the mainstream. Because the public advocate currently right now is Letitia James, and she just won an election to become Attorney General in New York. So now she's stepped aside from that post, and now someone else is looking to fill that seat in.
Yeah, it seemed like the Republicans in the right period, we're not like on mainstream. It seems like we've been hidden. We've been shadow banned, not just on social media. We've been shadow banned, period. And they are trying to hide us. They've been trying to hide us.
Mm-hmm.
It's been crazy, like New York, you got Chicago, you got Los Angeles. So what's going on? What's going on there? So that's a sanctuary city right there. You know, I mean,
yes, New York.
How much do they protect? Do they protect criminals out there in New York like they do in Los Angeles?
I mean, it really varies depending on like the crime that they're doing. But a lot of these, illegal immigrants do get away with some things that normally you wouldn't get away in states like Texas or like Florida down south, like where it's more stricter. So yeah, they do get away with a lot of things here. It's unfortunate, but that's the environment that we're living in, and it's mainly because of the elected officials that we got. I mean, New York just recently voted in Mayor de Blasio, right, for another term, which is a complete travesty to the city of New York. And then we got a governor, Andrew Cuomo, who has been another failure, filled with people that have been sent to jail, that are subpoenaed, that are, on the verge of so much corruption, right, in his administration and also in de Blasio's administration has been occurring. And now they're looking to to raise the taxes on the property tax, property tax is going up. And so who owns property? A lot of Republicans and conservatives, people that invest in their future and, get homes, they are, in New York, they're not having it. They're really like angry about the situation because New Yorkers as a whole have focused more on social issues rather than economic issues, which affects everybody.
This is insane. How they like why do they get it? It's like they're trying to make these states to become a broke state. It's like they're trying to. It's like they're intentionally. It ain't like it, but they are trying to make these a broke state, broke cities. They are trying to make it broke for a reason.
And you know what the reason is? I think it's that, and a lot of people have speculated on this. They're saying that basically like they're raising everything up to be so high in this state because New York is a very, very expensive state to live in. Yeah. Eventually, a lot of minorities like myself are getting kicked out because they just can't live in these conditions anymore. Things are too high. The rent is too high. A lot of people are being displaced. People from Brooklyn, where I live at, or moving to like Jersey and Pennsylvania and Rhode Island, other states that are far away because they can't afford the rent here. And the people that are coming in are actual liberals that that have went to colleges or again, they're artists. They're people that are just really in that class. And it's a very distinct, obvious reason why. And it's because they can afford to live in here, while minority communities like myself and others have not been able to live in these situations, and now they're leaving. Eventually, it's going to be too rich for any minorities to really live in New York City.
Yeah. What's up with this? Because I'm saying not to get off the city subject, but I was talking to someone that's in Los Angeles, said they got it's a Skid Row. They got homeless Americans, right? But they got not public housing. They got real luxury for illegals. They got them in nice little little spots.
So the city and the state, like they're spending a lot of money in hotels that are gonna like that basically have homeless people living in them, and instead like of creating programs to get them out of the welfare state and out of being dependent on the government. They're putting them in these shelters. They're taking them out of some shelters and putting them into hotels, allowing them to live there. And it's basically like it's only made the problem worse because I see homeless people every single day. Like it's so bad. Like it's sad, bro. Like it's really bad to go on the train every single day and seeing like 3-4 homeless people by the time I get to work. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it and it's just so sad. In fact, like I'm thinking of donating some clothes to some of these people because it's getting colder. Right now, it's a little good and it's strange because of, I don't know, global warming or something, but it's like around the 40s and 50s. So that's actually like not that bad weather for New York at this time period.
Yeah.
So it's usually like at 20 or like 10-degree weather in December. Right now, it's like at 40 and 50 and just raining. It hasn't even snowed yet. But I feel bad for the homeless, the crisis going on in New York City and New York in general. There's a lot of homeless in the streets, and I want to do whatever I can to like at least help out some way. I had some extra clothes out here that I want to like donate to them and just give it to them personally because I don't really trust like some of these organizations. Just for example, There are some really, really bad homeless shelters where people have gotten like really abused and in the worst conditions in these homeless shelters, and they know about it. There's stories about it publicized all the time, and it's just horrible to see that. And this is a state run entirely by Democrats. That's the problem. That's the issue. That these Democrats, these Democrat officials, they believe that they're the party for, you know, the illegal immigrants and the poor middle class and like the poor people and everybody. But here they are implementing programs and things that are affecting us the most, and they're not really what they say they are.
No, they're wolves in sheep clothing. That's what they are. You know, they want to act like they give a care about you, but they really don't. They don't care about us. They don't care about nobody. They're just following that agenda over here, that Hollywood agenda, and that one world government type of agenda, the globalist agenda. That's what they're following.
Yeah, it's really bad, and that's why we've actually, the RNHA has collaborated and joined up with another Hispanic movement called Lexit. And shout out to the Lexit movement. I think they were on your show the other day. But yeah, like they're great guys, and like we collaborated with them, and we're more unified right now as a team, because the RNHA has been around since 1967. We're the only organization that's recognized by the White House and the RNC, that's the GOP. We worked with President Reagan, President Bush, Bush's father, Herbert Walker, Sr., and RIP to him. He just recently passed away. And we know a lot of their administration. So currently we're not working with the Trump administration and getting that, started as well. But people don't know about the RNHA is that back in the days, like President Reagan used to come to our conventions like every single year. And that's like the legend himself. Reagan was at the RNHA's conventions, and he was like shouting us out and doing a lot of things. But unfortunately, due to the Clintons, due to the Obama years, a lot of that funding to a lot of conservatives and groups that are conservatives, and like pretty much like back at square one, because a lot of these policies didn't allow us to continue our growth. But all that is changing because we as a people have become more united. We see the things that are happening, and we're collaborating with other minority groups. Like I'm reaching out in New York. I'm reaching out to CAJA, which is the Chinese American Justice Alliance. I want to reach out to them, trying to find some of their people there. They have a great team. There's just one article that we put out today on the RNHA's New York chapter page. Okay. There's I think it's de Blasio, who is basically discriminating against Asian Americans because too many Asian Americans are getting into specialized schools because of their grades being too high. And so they're not allowing them to come in because there's too many Asian Americans in there. And that's discriminatory because these schools are made for people that are only achieving a certain amount of criteria, a certain grade. You get in there by merit. You don't get in there by your race or by, whatever you claim your gender is or whatever. That's not what this is about. And they're just like discriminating against them. They're saying that there's too many of them. So I think that's in a way an injustice to them, because if they're smart enough to join into these schools, and they should be smart enough, and they shouldn't be, barred from getting into these schools.
Wow. Man,
that's crazy. Yeah, a lot of Asian Americans are very pissed off at de Blasio for doing that, and a lot of schools and parents, they joined together and they started making like groups against him because it's outrageous. It's like, what the hell? It's like, why would you not want smart students in your school that have these tests that only can be you can only allow entrance to smart individuals like Asian Americans? The Asian American community is very intelligent, and so they're very hardworking. Yeah, and they're being discriminated against.
Wow. The race baiting is still in full effect.
Yeah, they want to include more minority students, more white students. I guess, I don't know, like a bunch of different groups based on political correctness.
Yeah. Yep.
Things like that. It's just look it up, man. It's crazy.
I'm gonna look that up, man. It's just, my head about to explode.
Like, why would you not want smart students? That's what I don't understand. And so we're reaching out to the Asian American community. We're reaching out to the Brazilian community also, which supports President Bolsonaro, who just recently got elected and is building a good relationship with President Trump. Bolsonaro is an anti-communist president. He's against socialism. He's supportive of capitalism, and he's doing really big things in Brazil. He's very vocal about his politics and the way he is. He's very strong. He's a very strong individual, and so we want to reach out to the Brazilians. So we're getting a lot of minority groups and to join up with the RNHA. So it's it's a good coalition that we're building, and I'm very happy to be with the team that I have. So.
Yeah, we are destroying political correctness. We are destroying that. That's why they're mad. We're destroying it. Political correct, it's not even correct. It's just something just to go ahead and like, okay, let's get everybody to think like a robot. Let's get everybody to think like each other. That's when it comes down to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's an article today that I posted on one of the pages, and it was like Eva Longoria said that it was something about the Latino vote is not a monolithic group or something like that. But when I heard it at first, and I read the article and I saw the thing in the video, and she's basically talking about, oh, we're not just Puerto Rican, Dominican, Ecuadorian, Mexican, and Brazilian, or whatever. I'm like, why is the first thing that Eva Longoria talks about is race and their ethnic background instead of actual, thought, instead of being we're not a monolithic group. And I said, we're not a monolithic group in the way that we think. We're not just all Democrats. We're also Republicans and conservatives. So that's what should really be stated. So there's differences in ethnic groups, but there's also differences in ideologies. And one ideology that I truly believe in is to make New York great again, to make our country great again, and to support capitalism and to support the Constitution.
Yep, support the Constitution, because the Constitution will protect us.
Yeah. Without that sacred document, there's nothing. There's nothing in this country. It's not America.
Yep. We got to be protected. I like what Trump said. He said this here. We got to protect. We got to protect our country from the enemy of the people. We're strong with border patrol. Like I said the other day, I said this. It's like when you in a store at night, so you work at a store at night, you got to have security over there because somebody's going to rob that place. You got to have security. It's like in schools, people bring guns to school. What's the matter with having security? I mean, what's the matter with having security at the border? Border patrol.
Yes. And talking about border security, one important thing that I think we should all know about, because the liberals, they have this argument that's saying, well, the Republicans own, all three branches of government and they're in charge. Why could it happen now? But they can't get the wall. They have all power. Why aren't they getting the help? Well, guess what? It doesn't work like that. Obviously, you don't know about government enough to realize that that's a flawed argument. We need bicameral support, meaning we need, both Democrats and Republicans from both different houses, from the state and the House, from the Senate and the House, to get involved and to work in a bipartisan effort to get the funding. Trump doesn't have the votes, doesn't have enough votes to get a wall built and to get the funding for the wall. So that's why he was with Chuck Schumer the other day and Nancy Pelosi, and that's why he bodied Chuck Schumer right in front of his face, because this is a last-ditch effort by Chuck Schumer to basically by Trump to get the wall funded.
Get the wall.
Because there's no other, because after after they get their Democrats in the House of Representatives, we will not have the votes to get a wall. So it's like we are in an emergency that needs to happen, and people aren't paying attention to that because they don't really understand, the fact that you need Democrats, but because of political correctness, because they don't want to look bad with the Hispanic community, they don't want to give the votes, and they don't want to help out, and they don't want to, and most important of all, they don't want to make Trump look good and have another success, because he's been getting W's every single day even. And then it's like, this would be literally like the ultimate way to stop drug trafficking, which is very, very, very detrimental to the Hispanic community, to the Black community, to all communities in America, right? It hurts it hurts our communities the most because we're the ones that are getting influenced by it through the music, through the culture, through everything. Right there, we're right there at the border, and of course the border towns are right next to it. So it really affects my community a lot. Another thing that happens because of drug trafficking and all the cartels there at the border, and with lack of security at the border, is sex trafficking, child
Ooh.
sex trafficking, which is the worst possible thing that can happen. Is that the thing is just incredibly just disgusting and just horrible, that it affects a lot of our communities. We have Hispanic, cartels, Latino cartels, right? They're not they're not black, white, anything. They're Mexican cartels that are taking advantage of other Mexican people, Hondurans, Guatemalans, Salvadorians that are crossing the border and then being used, to make profit, to make money. They sell them as sex slaves. They sell them, as like just horrible things, like a commodity, and then get them involved into just bad practices. And then that's something that's why we need a wall. We need border security to protect our Hispanic community the most, because we're the ones really being affected. They're the ones that cross the border the most.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Obviously, there's other ethnic groups like the Asians and the Russians that also come in, but Hispanic Americans are the Hispanic community are the ones that are coming in the most through the wall right there.
We don't see the Canadians doing it. We don't see the Canadians doing it. I mean,
yeah, you don't see, because they have their own system. They protect themselves. They have their own things. But like the thing about Mexico and like other countries, if you look into the Mexican government, you see really how corrupt it is and how they don't have really many protections for the people themselves. That's why a lot of people are running from these countries, because they're not getting what they need, and they're not standing up to the government because it's so corrupt and colluding with the cartels. It's really a narco state, and it's really sad. It's very powerful to combat, and hopefully they get a president in there that's going to really change things up, because at this point there's so many people that are dying every single day in Mexico because of the trafficking and the drug cartels, because they're allowing drugs to come into the country back and forth, and these people are making millions and billions of dollars and then taking advantage of everybody.
It's good to see someone like you that's passionate about the community period, but that you are standing up, even though what I'm saying, right is right, what I'm saying, even though you ain't looking at it, you ain't race based, you're like, oh, they're my people, oh, let them come over here, them Latinos, what I'm saying, no, you for what is right, obey the law, you for what is right, you are an American, it's about obeying the law, if they want to get here legally,
The RNHA, we support legal immigration. We support immigrants. We want immigrants to come in, but they gotta come in legally. There's the right way to do it. There's people that have been waiting in line for 5-10 years.
Yes.
Residency to be here, a permanent resident, and then they have to wait an extra 5 years to become a citizen. It's unfair to them to just have someone come in because of political correctness, because of Democrat organizations that are, crying out racism and all this nonsense. It's horrible, and that affects my community.
Yes, it affects your community, and you got to keep on standing up for your community. We all got to stand up for all of our communities. I always say, get your house in order. Like, we got to take care of our country first. Then, not just that. Before you even about country first, we got to take care of our house first before we take care of our country first. But it comes in with the package right here. I take care of my hood first, where I'm at. What I'm saying? That's what I do. That's what we got to do. Take care of our home first.
We got to take care of our hoods. We got to make sure that we're with the people, that we support them, and that we inform them. Most important, because a lot of people don't know some of this stuff. A lot of people don't know. A lot of my community is just like, it just doesn't. They don't really understand it. It's more complicated than it looks. And the fact that having a wall would actually help us more. It would help us, lessen the crime in our community. Because think about it. MS-13 gang member comes into the U.S. Who are they most likely to attack? They're going to attack a Hispanic, citizen, because they think that, because they're going to, first of all, be in that Hispanic community. They're not going to go to a white community, where there's more white people over there, and probably the rent is higher or whatever. And they're not going to be in there. They're going to go to a Hispanic community, They're gonna go and scout and see who's there. They're gonna attack us first. You know, just basic common nature. You're gonna be with the different your own group, right? So I feel that having a wall and having more border security will protect Hispanic Americans from dangerous criminals that are coming into the border and really targeting us. A lot of these groups, a lot of these Hispanic gangs, like the MS-13 and like the cartels that are coming in, they have these rules that they gotta kill somebody to join. They're more likely to kill us, right? Because if they were killing a bunch of white people, you hear it all over the news all the time. You know what I mean? But if they, but the murders that you don't see going on are Hispanics and blacks that are happening there, especially with these gangs and their initiations.
Yeah, it's initiation.
It's the initiations that they do. I know because I've been in the hood. I seen like some of the stuff go down, and it's just horrible. So when people when Hispanics tell me like, "Oh, you support Trump, you know, you want a wall, like what are you crazy? You're racist." Well, of course I want the wall because I want my community to be protected. We don't want them getting killed. We don't want them getting killed and like jumped by like gang members in MS-13 because we're most likely to get jumped by them.
Yeah, it's the truth. You know, I'll tell you my story a little later on because I know how it is being jumped in the gang. You know, I'm a former gang member from Chicago, and I've been there. You know, I've been there, and I know the drill. So I understand exactly what you're talking about, bro.
Well, thank you so much, Mo, for letting me be on your show. I really appreciate it. You know, shout outs to you and all the great work that you're doing. Shout outs to everybody out there that's also doing a lot of these movements where you got your live streams and your shows. I really appreciate because we need this. We need people like you continuing to do what you do. We need more people, you know, and all my support goes to you. The RNHA is very happy. You know, we're growing. We're getting a lot of people involved, and we're getting more people every single day. If you guys want to check out more of the RNHA, go on the rnhanational.org website to check us out. Follow me on Facebook, Franklin Gonzalez. Frank, you can call me Frank.
Oh yeah, yes. Your link is under the description, but I'll put your link on Facebook under here for everybody can get to it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Check out the RNHA on Facebook. We have chapters on all the states, all 50 states, and you can join up your local chapters and get involved. There's a Hispanic movement growing every single day. We're getting members, and it's just crazy.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, brother. I'll have you back.
Thank you.
Soon. All right, deuces.
Peace.